Alright, so our topic today is that we should exempt the military from the current sequestration policy passed by Congress. For those of you that don't know what the sequestration is, I've got about 3 or 4 definitions. I'm not going to read all 4 of them. Howard McCon from CNN tells us basically that it is a harsh budget cut is the easy way to put it. So it's basically just like you don't get the money that you're supposed to have anymore. They take all of it away because you abuse it or you're using too much of it and they need it for something else. Our significance claim is that keeping the military in the current sequestration will have negative economic consequences. Now, there are various economic consequences that there will be. I chose 3 of them to go over. The first one is that having the budget cuts in the military is going to have consequences when it comes to the military paying for part of the tuitions or full tuitions when it comes to college graduates. Armed forces have recently announced they're going to be dropping their tuition assistance, and this is from the StarHerald.com. So that immediately is already going to have less college graduates because of the budget cuts. And obviously this is going to affect a lot of people's futures because now they're dedicating 4 years of their life to go to the military, army, etc. to hopefully get that college degree, and halfway through they realize they can't get it anymore, so now they're stuck and have no way of going to college because probably can't afford it. The graduation imperative tells us that failing to graduate college has a clear negative effect on individuals in terms of lost income, opportunity, and other benefits. Yet society as a whole bears the brunt of low graduation rates. And then college graduates can earn more money, and when people earn more money, that's more tax that is generated. This tax revenue is the chief vehicle of continued government service improvement at the state and the local level. Low graduation rates is obviously going to be at high cost because now we're having low tax rates, or less tax on low tax rates. According to American Institutes for Research Study, students who began as full-time students but failed to graduate in 6 years cost the nation approximately $3.8 billion in lost income, $566 million in lost federal income taxes, and $164 million in lost state income taxes. This study focused on only one class of students, so as you can see, if it's just on one and that's the number just from one class, obviously when it comes to more and more, the numbers are going to be a lot higher, and they're already high as it is. Next is that a significant cut in the defense budget would have a similar effect on our budget as a country, undoubtedly leading to a reduced payroll and even more austere financial measures in order to survive these tough times. Just in 2013, the military was responsible for $5 billion flowing into our economy and more than 1 in every 5 jobs. Taking in that military does not just consider people who are in the military, they also hire civilians to work for them. Even the president, when he passed this, said that the government was going to have that vital government services are going to suffer, and obviously, we all don't think he's doing anything right, but that's my opinion. But I'm not going to go into depth on that part. So the military has already received 3 budget cuts, and President Obama's first term alone, which is how we got the 2013 statistics. Certain industries are going to be hit particularly hard, including the aerospace industry, which is losing 3.4% of the jobs due to this budget cut. The ship and boat industry is going to be losing 3.3% of its jobs, and the search and navigation industry is going to be losing 9.3% of its jobs. Over a loss of 200,000 military jobs in 2014, including civilian workers, as I said before. And the total loss is going to be over 1.2 million jobs, which is going to add 0.7% to the already high unemployment rate. Also on top of that, 1,010,000 private sector jobs, including 130 manufacturing jobs, will be lost in 2014 as a statistic, it's not going to happen, but that is what they predict is going to happen. Also, just in San Diego, an estimated 10% or 18,000 jobs were lost in the defense contract. And that's just in San Diego alone, 18,000 jobs, and that's a pretty high number. That's a lot of people going into unemployment. And also due to this, with the budget cuts, we're going to be feeling less protected because now with the less money we have, they're going to have to cut back on training. And as everybody knows, well, most people know, practice makes perfect. And the less you practice, the more imperfect you're going to be. So less training, the less ready they're going to be when it actually comes to having to defend our country. Our adherency claim is that we should take the money from less important programs and use it towards military funding. And the one, of course, I used was Obamacare. It cost the federal government more than $300 million from outside contractors to set up the Obamacare website that is still, pretty crappy as it is. So we could have used that $300 million to put it into the military and use that for training, use it to hire other people, and instead of having to cut it, we could have just used it from other, pointless programs there is. Also, when it comes to our solvency claim, with more money going into the military, we will benefit by having a stronger defense. One of the main things I found when looking up what happens when you have a weak military was the whole Cuba trade thing. I'll describe that exactly. But we went in and we had to pull out because during the times we had a weak military, and then we had to have an embargo set so we can't have any trade with Cuba. And according to the Premier Online Debate, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce opposes the embargo, saying that it costs the United States $1.2 billion annually in lost sales of exports. And a study in the Cuba Policy Foundation, a nonprofit organization founded by former U.S. diplomats, estimate that the annual cost of the U.S. economy is going to be as high as $4.84 billion in agricultural exports and related economic output. Now, just using a little bit of that extra money to have a stronger military, obviously we're not going to be spending that $4.84 billion. So having maybe the $300 million that we spent on that Obamacare website, we could have used to train our soldiers better. Obviously, this happened a long time ago, before the whole Obamacare thing. But if we went into that, we would have a stronger defense, and we wouldn't have lost so much money potentially.
I gotta cut you off now, it's 8 minutes.